Welcome! Today, we're jumping right in and joining an apprentice named Jody on a pretty epic quest. Her mission? To conquer a really crucial skill, Skill S4. And look, this isn't just about ticking a box for an assessment. This is about learning to speak the true language of a project. So let's get into it. So let me ask you this. Do you ever open up a scope of work document, or maybe an engineering drawing, and just feel like you're trying to read ancient hieroglyphics? Yeah, you're definitely not alone. For a ton of apprentices, just like Jody, these things can feel super dense, really confusing, and honestly just plain overwhelming. But what if I told you that those documents, they're not a barrier at all? They're actually a treasure map. Seriously. And Skills 4, that's the secret key that teaches you how to read it. So that's what we're gonna do here. We're gonna transform these complicated files into a clear path that leads you straight to project success. Okay, so every great quest needs a big challenge to overcome, right? A final boss, if you will. In our story, that challenge is getting a handle on what Skill S4 actually is. So let's define this beast we're about to tame. All right, here is the official by-the-book definition straight from the Apprenticeship Standard. It's all about interpreting technical info, knowing exactly what data you need to be tracking, and then using all that as solid evidence to make really good recommendations. I know it sounds a bit dense, but trust me, this is the skill that makes a project controls professional absolutely invaluable. So let's bring it right back to our treasure map. Honestly, mastering Skill S4 is like becoming a map maker. You can look at any project's map, its drawings, its documents, and you don't just see a bunch of lines and symbols anymore. No, you see the clear path to success, you see the hidden traps to avoid, and you know exactly where that treasure is buried. Now, here's the thing. No hero ever goes on a quest all by themselves. Jody has a whole team to guide her, and you do too. So let's meet the key players who are gonna help us translate this map and guide the journey. First up, we've got Adam, the seasoned mentor. He's the one who's right there in the trenches with you, giving you that practical, hands-on advice. His whole thing is about focus. He's the one telling you, hey, ignore all the noise, just find the critical clues. Like spotting a tiny change in a material spec that could end up saving the project thousands of pounds, or even prevent a month-long delay. Next up is Olivia, your coach. Now, she's your strategist. Olivia helps you think about the bigger picture. It's not just about doing the work, it's about proving you can do it. She'll be the one to remind you that an annotated drawing isn't just a task you checked off, it's chapter 1 of your success story, showing exactly how you interpret complex information. And finally, we have Riddle, your line manager at Ibis Stores. Riddle is the one who connects your personal quest to the real world. She's there to remind you that when you analyze a technical drawing and recommend a more efficient way to do something, you're not just working on your apprenticeship, you are directly impacting the company's bottom line. It's that important. All right, the team is assembled. You know what that means? It's time for the training montage. This is where Jody and you are gonna level up, turning all this theory into actual practice through a really clear step-by-step plan. This 5-step plan is your road to victory. We start with the absolute basics, learning to speak the language of those engineering drawings and scopes of work. Then you become a data detective, pulling out only the most critical information. Step 3 is where you take that data and use it to build control plans. After that, you learn how to make recommendations that are backed by solid proof, until finally, you achieve mastery. You'll be interpreting any technical doc with total confidence. I mean, this slide just captures that transformation perfectly, right? You go from feeling completely swamped by jargon to becoming a sharp detective. You know exactly what clues to look for, the dimensions that drive the costs, the materials that affect the schedule, and the key deliverables that actually define what success looks like. Okay, so once you start building up this skill, you've got to prove it. This part of the quest is all about gathering the treasure. And by treasure, I mean the tangible, real-world evidence of your abilities for your portfolio. I want you to think of Appdem, your digital portfolio system, as your own personal treasure chest. Every single piece of evidence you upload in there isn't just a file. It's proof of your growing power. It's like a gold coin that demonstrates your value. So let's look at exactly what kind of treasure you need to be collecting. This checklist right here, this is your guide. You're going to need copies of documents you've reviewed, maybe with your own notes and highlights on them. You need the control plans that you built using that data. You'll need any formal recommendations you've made and the reports that show how you tracked progress. You see, each piece tells a part of the story of how you turned technical data into actual project control. All right, you've trained, you've gathered your treasure. Now, it's time for the final battle, the Endpoint Assessment, or the EPA. This is your moment. It's a professional discussion where you get to show off everything you've learned to an independent assessor and really prove your mastery. Okay, so picture it. You're in the EPA, and the assessor will probably ask you something just like this. See, they don't just want to know what you recommended. They want to know why your recommendation should be trusted. They're testing your process, your thinking. As here is your shield and sword for that battle. Use this exact framework to structure your answer. Start with your evidence, the documents you used. Then, state what you found. Next, explain why it matters, what the impact is. And finally, present your logical, evidence-based solution. It just shows such confident, structured thinking. It's a killer formula. Here's another classic question you might get. With just so much information flying around on a project, how do you decide what's actually important? This question is testing your ability to see the signal through all of the noise.
You know, the key to an answer like this is the clear logic. You're not just plucking data out of thin air. You're showing that you start with the project's main goals from the scope of work, and then you drill down into the technical details from the drawings that directly affect those goals. It's just a really smart, targeted approach. And just like that, the quest is complete. You've faced the challenge, you've trained with your team, you've gathered your treasure, and you have conquered the final assessment. You are now a master of Skill S4. And look, these aren't just skills anymore. They're your new superpowers. For real, you can decode any technical document. You can spot the critical data that other people might miss. You can make recommendations that people actually listen to and trust. You have become a vital asset to the project team at IBIS Stores, and you are so ready for your assessment. So we'll end with this thought. The quest to learn Skill S4 might be over, but your adventure as a project professional, that is just beginning. You now hold the treasure map, so the only question left is, where are you going to lead the way?